I don't know what it is, but I love what they're doing with the San Jose Sharks. I love what Macklin Celebrini is doing. I love what Will Smith is doing. I like this Graf kid, Nedeljkovic and Askarov are really coming into their own, and I just don't know what to say exactly. I mean, this is, you know, last year the team was written off. Macklin Celebrini was doing okay for the most part, but I think that right now he is coming into his own. He has about 26 points in about 17 games. Um, him and Connor Bedard are, are neck and neck in the points races, though. But I don't know what it is with San Jose. They beat the Minnesota Wild last night in overtime, and apparently Macklin Celebrini knows how to play good 3-on-3 hockey. And he was out there for 2 minutes straight. I don't know how he managed to do all that though. But but even though I'm out of market and I'm in, Maryland, and I don't have, and unless they come on TNT or ESPN or ABC or one of the main networks, I'm not seeing them. Or they only, or they come on Monumental Sports in the, the Maryland, Virginia area, the DMV as we call it. The only, so unless they're coming on those stations, I'm not going to see it. However, I did listen to it last night and I heard the goal, like that Macklin Celebrini essentially had one of the best assists of his career, getting it to Graf. And even though it's 3-on-3, it was one of the best so far. I almost forgot to mention Joe Thornton. Congratulations on getting to the Hall of Fame. You may not have won a cup, but you got to play in the Stanley Cup final, and that's more than many other players will get to do. You've built essentially the base for San Jose Sharks hockey. You, Patrick Marleau, and Joe Pavelski did that, and it's also a shame that Joe Pavelski never won a cup as well. But I would have been happy if he won it with Dallas and stayed another year, but he did not do that. Um, so I think that, but Jumbo Joe, I guess I'm throwing this out for you at this point because it's getting cold here in Maryland. So shout out to you for finally making it to the Hall of Fame, and uh, and also thank you for taking in Macklin Celebrini his first year and being a mentor to him because apparently whatever you did, it's really working for him right now. He is, I think he's going to get about 120 120 in points at this point. Maybe 125 if he really steps up because he could have a really good game down the line. But I think that he is just coming into his own, and he is exceeding my expectations at this point because he's now more than a point per game player, if that makes sense. Because I guess in your rookie year, you're gonna have some struggles. It's kind of like in baseball where you're not, no one expects you to hit 300, or if you hit above 300, like Nick Kurtz did with the Athletics, you're essentially going to get Rookie of the Year at that point. And I think that, but I think Celebrini, he's going to be a great captain in the future, and you're going to have to look out for, watch out for that because I think it's coming at this point. And Will Smith is going to be a great assistant at this point. Who takes the other assistant slot? Who knows at this point? Um, so let's talk a little bit about the game. So, you know, fourth straight win for the Sharks at this point. Um, Colin Graf getting that his second goal of the season, being the young guy that he is. Celebrini getting 16 assists, though his 16th assist in this. And yeah, there's that. So let's let's check out uh graph. Let's check out okay, let's check out ABCD celebrating. Okay. Okay, 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points in 17 games played. You are definitely flying high. He is a +8 at this point on the ice. It has been great seeing him in San Jose. And even though I was not born in San Jose and I've never even been to California, um, had I grown up in San Jose, I think I would have been more happy than ever to be celebrating this kid. I mean, he's taller than me. He actually weighs more than me. He's 190. I'm about 180. But this is, he could be, like Connor McDavid of his generation for I guess he would be at the tail end of Generation Z though, but definitely picking up steam. Now in his career, he's over a point per game player because he has 89 points in the total 87 games played, and that's what I wanted to make clear of going forward. All right, let's talk about Colin Graff. This is his first season. He's got 2 goals, 4 assists, shoots right, and he went undrafted, oddly enough, though, and he only has 6 points, but he is a -1 this season, or excuse me, you know, he, excuse me, he's still he, career stats. He hasn't played much over his career, and I think that he just needs to get some more playing time. But they're really coming into their own. Let's talk a little bit about Yaroslav Askarov. So he was not supposed to start this game. He comes in and he gets the dub. I am so impressed. Now he does have a 3.29 goals against average. His save percentage is just under 900. So there are some things that he needs to work on, but I think that you're going to see him in the long run, get to that point of it. He just needs some more playing time, and he's got 5 wins in 10 games played. I think he just needs some more playing time, and he could definitely go make more of an impact. But I think you got to use him more sparingly than Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic. Speaking of that, let's go to him. Now he's still the ace of the Sharks. He's the one that's going to be flying high on this. Um, Born on January 7th, 1996. He's got 3 wins total over the season. Um, but his save percentage, his goals against average is a little higher. Save percentage is 906, but there's still that. Now Askarov may have more of the wins, but Nedeljkovic is more the overall round set player. So I think you got to go with him moving forward. So that could be a toss up of who you want to take going forward. So think right there. Let's let me go back to that season schedule. So so we've seen them be able to go the distance, certainly with Colorado. They've topped Seattle. They topped the Stanley Cup champions. So um, they took they took the loss in the shootout with Detroit. So there's that. Now they won against Seattle. They won against Winnipeg. They won against Florida. They just won against um, you know, Minnesota and St. Paul. So you have that. So they've accumulated. So every game this month, they've accumulated at least 1 point, and that is five, three. Yeah, the first 6 games they did it. They go play Calgary on Thursday, which is tomorrow on 13th, and then they go back to Seattle on the 15th. They get some rest in between on Monday, on Sunday, Monday. Then they have their home stretch, and then they have to go into Colorado, and then go. They come back home and face Vancouver, and they finish out the month with Vegas, and there is no hockey on Thanksgiving on the 27th. But I think that we're going to see some great games ahead. I think that they'll do well against Calgary and they'll do well against Seattle, even though they're going to be in there. Um, Even though they'll be the away team, I think they'll still do well, and I think they'll catch a lot of people off guard moving forward. Now, here's a final question. Do I think the San Jose Sharks could get into the playoffs? Yeah, I do. I do. Um, now, now I know that there's still some things you have to do, you have to work on here. I wouldn't be surprised one way or the other. I think it's a coin toss at this point. We're gonna They are in the wild card at this very moment. And guess who else is in the wild card as well? The Chicago Blackhawks. So it would be so when they get to face off against each other later in the year, it's going to be a very fun game to watch, and I think you all need to watch it, whether that's on NBC or even if you're just listening to it on the radio, on whether the Sharks radio network or the Blackhawks radio network. You can absolutely do that there, and just download the NHL app, though. Let's talk a little bit about Seattle coming up. That's going to be a very big one. If the San Jose Sharks can knock out Seattle and actually get the full 2 points and don't let this go to overtime, I think that I think I'm gonna have a better indication of predicting where they're gonna be in the next few months going forward. So if they do that, I'm gonna be more confident of them getting in. Excuse me, of them getting into the playoffs. The Ducks, I mean, California teams right now are doing so well. The Ducks and the Kings are doing so good. The Sharps are actually in the wild card race at this point, and and everything's just going fine though. Um, we'll see where they are at the end of the month. Vegas could come back at this point, but the only reason not they're just below the line is because they've only played 15 games and the Sharks have played more games, and you're dancing on the chalk line. But again, we will see where they are, later in the month. And it doesn't matter until game 82 is complete. That's how the Panthers began their dynasty in 2023, even though they lost the Stanley Cup that year. The, because every game does count, and had the Penguins beat either the Blue Jackets or the Blackhawks, the two worst teams at the time, they would have gotten in, and we probably don't see the Florida Panthers dynasty. And Boston probably does go further, but Vegas probably ultimately wins the 2023 Stanley Cup Finals in that, though. But yeah, definitely. Um, I guess that'll do it for this episode of the Adam Austin Hockey Podcast, though. No intro today, but I love where the Sharks are going. They're fun to listen to. They're fun to watch. I love the highlights. Macklin Celebrini knows how to get this done in overtime, and I can't wait to see where they are at the end of the year. Whether or not they get into the playoffs, I think that they've improved greatly, and they have exceeded my expectations as a team. And I'm not even from San Jose. They're just fun to watch, you know. And I thought, this team, and there were a lot of people clowning on this team, but I think that you're going to see them get back to the finals and ultimately win a Stanley Cup, and be the first, and the Bay Area will finally have a Stanley Cup to put on their shelf. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. Check out the Substack, check out the journal, check out my audiobook, Growing Hockey. Like, comment, share, and subscribe with all your friends. Uh, rate this podcast if 5 stars if you think it's worth it. Write a review, all that jazz. And with that being said, everyone, take care.